votes in it. The fact is that the 27 votes in that yard can vote on the Dutch side, could have voted and still can vote on the Dutch side and also on the French side. And the story went that Albert went to visit the home, and when he got there, Dr. Hubert Petty's car was parked in front. And he waited, he parked behind Petty's car, and he waited, and waited, and waited. And after an hour, he decided to go to another house and come back. And he was determined to get in to speak to them 27 votes. And at the godly hour, ungodly hour of 10:45 in the night, he finally got in to speak to them. And he said he fell asleep. He told me this, he fell asleep. And when Dr. Petty started his car, he woke up and he got out and he knocked on his window. He said, "Doc, you came out, I'm going in now." And he went in at 10:45 in the night to speak to a family to try to convince them to vote. And he told me, he says, that was important. And he said, you have to persevere, you have to fight for it. Another point that made Albert so determined. We've heard stories of how humble Mr. Fleming was. Meeting and talking to everyone in every district of this island. He paid attention to the folks in Rambo, French Quarter, Lowlands, and all over. But he was focused on one thing, doing good for everybody, and not just a select few. Albert Fleming also taught us that you cannot know everything about all the subjects. But what is important is to know where to go to find it and to get people around you to go and get that knowledge so you can make it to the best benefit of the people. Mr. Fleming was a bridge builder, not a bridge burner. The unity and the cooperation between both sides was basically ingrained. I said that he had affinity in his fingers for that, because he understood the importance of both sides. That we should complement each other and not be fighting against each other. Another thing I realized from seeing him is that Mr. Fleming was a good time manager. I often wonder how a person can go to 4 church services on a Sunday, still find time to go to 3 different cockfights, and find time to play with children and grandchildren. He was a good time manager. As we are gathered here today, I think the most important question we should ask ourselves, what do we do with these qualities that Monsieur le Maire possessed? How do we move forward? Do we next month just erect a statue? I think there's one already erected. Just erect a statue and then it's all over. We would not be doing him any justice if we just do that. The qualities that Monsieur le Maire had must be maintained as qualities for our present young leaders and future leaders to learn from and to build on. And I know there are those that will tell me, oh, there are different times. These are modern times. These are AI times. and social media times, that's all good. But in life, in development of human being and your pure humanity, service to humanity, there are certain things that remain basic generation after generation. And I just want to encourage those that are presently in leadership position on both sides of this island, and those that are considering to go into leadership, to take a moment, stand still, and take some pages out of Mr.Fleming's book. There's no written book, but when I mean pages, you can talk to people who work with him, get to know his character and what he did, and learn from that. Learn from that to be able to continue making this place one of the best places to live on earth. Monsieur le Maire, thank you. Merci beaucoup for all you have done for both sides of this island, to Josiane, the family, and the entire community of St. Martin. Accept my deepest sympathy, and may his soul rest in everlasting peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cox. Monsieur le maire a tenu beaucoup de responsabilités, beaucoup de postes et a eu beaucoup de rôles différents. Nous avons entendu parler de Nadjiko, la construction, la politique, et maintenant c'est le tour de la Seine-Saint-Marc. J'invite Monsieur Jean-Paul Fischer à me rejoindre sur ce podium.
Je voudrais tout d'abord présenter mes condoléances et mes sentiments de sympathie à la famille d'Albert, à ses enfants, à sa femme, à tous ses amis, à tous ceux qui ont vécu pendant des années avec Albert, notre maire. Albert, c'est la dernière fois que je te parle aujourd'hui, parce que tu as entrepris un long voyage que nous ferons tous. Il reste de ta vie sur ce territoire de Saint-Martin que tu as tant aimé, que tu as semé, que tu as partagé. Il reste dans nos cœurs ton intelligence, ton humanisme, ton humanité. Nous avons mené ensemble de multiples combats. Mais ton souvenir a marqué ma vie, a marqué nos vies. Ton souvenir illumine ma mémoire, illumine nos mémoires. Sur cette place demain, nous verrons une plaque où il y aura marqué ton nom, maire de Saint-Martin. Mais tout cela n'est qu'illusion. Ce qui va rester, c'est le souvenir que nous portons tous. Nous portons tous dans nos cœurs pour l'œuvre que tu as accomplie. Je sais que tu as entrepris un long voyage. Et quand tu atteindras l'autre rive, l'autre bord, je sais que tu vas attendre celles et ceux qui t'ont aimé, qui t'ont estimé, celles et ceux que tu as aimés. Mais tu attendras surtout ceux qui sont humbles, ceux qui sont en difficulté, ceux qui ont besoin de solidarité, ceux qui ont besoin de fraternité. Et Albert, ensemble, peut-être, nous referons un nouveau chemin devant l'Éternel. Adieu, Albert.
Merci, Monsieur Fischer. J'invite Madame Sonia Fleming à me rejoindre.
Le protocole ayant été établi, je vous souhaite une mémorable journée. Jour de pleurs, jour de douleur, mais aussi jour du renouveau. Il est venu le temps de mettre de côté nos tristes égos, nos je suis, nos cheveux, nos cancaneries, nos jalouseries, nos chamailleries. Il est venu le temps de grandir et main dans la main de s'unir pour construire un Saint-Martin meilleur. C'était le souhait de toujours de ce grand homme au charisme exceptionnel. Soyons unis et restons unis. Et pour ceux et celles qui ne comprennent toujours pas la portée de son puissant message, je le dirai de façon biblique. Une île divisée contre elle-même ne peut subsister. Repose en paix, Monsieur le maire. Tu seras toujours vivant en nos cœurs. Message. Faut-il attendre que s'invite la mort pour réveiller ces mots si forts, empreints d'amour et de réconfort qu'on aimerait tant entendre de son éphémère vivant? Hélas, je ne suis plus. J'ai déserté ce lieu, voguant vers d'autres cieux, l'âme légère et l'esprit joyeux. Oui, j'ai tiré ma dernière révérence dans les bras du Saint-Martin de mon enfance, bercé par la brise salée. Laissez-moi partir, n'essayez pas de me retenir ou vouloir de fleurs me couvrir. Ne pleurez pas, riez, dansez, je suis heureux, si heureux, je n'ai plus de soucis. Et comme je me le suis promis, j'offre mes ailes à l'infini. Et à vous, ces Martinois, mes bien-aimés, j'offre mon plus beau souvenir.
Merci Sonia. And now, I wanted to share my story with you. So I first met Monsieur le Maire in 1990 as I started my professional career at the Commune. I worked closely with him as his public relations, local and communication officer. He was a man of few words, but of a brilliant mind. He had the gift of a visionary, and as we say in our English, he could see you coming from far. He was a very humble person with a big heart, who loved his people. But he always liked things done with style. And he would tell me, Jean, I want it this way, done this way, and so it was done. And that's how we brought you the 14th of July ceremony with everyone under the tents, everyone participating, because he wanted everyone to share that ambiance. Then we did the Mother's Day events, we did the Christmas basket deliveries, the senior citizen lunches, the hoisting of the Unity flag on Concordia Hill, and his celebration of the Legion of Honor, the President Jacques Chirac's visit, and so many more. I remember after Hurricane Louis had just passed, I was still at home with my 4-month-old baby. And he came home and said, Jean, give the baby to your mother. We have lots of work to do. And so I did. We went to distribute zinc tarpaulin, water, until there was no left. After a decade, I moved on to other things because I was ready at that time. And so Pops said to me, Jean, if you ever need to come back, there'll always be a place for you. He taught me the value of hard work and gave me lots of advices. I can often ask him, what do you think about this, buying a house, whatever, and he will always give me a good advice. So today I say thank you to Monsieur le Maire for your guidance. Rest in eternal peace, Pops. I call upon Mrs. Candice Carty to join me on stage. Good day, everyone. It is difficult to stand before you and honor you in words, Pops. Today, I bid farewell to an iconic leader, a legend to humankind, a role model to all, our very own national treasure. I had great admiration for Pops. He was compassionate, hardworking, very humble, and full of modesty, wisdom, humility, and integrity. You had a way with your words. Your smile and patience spoke volume. He was never a person impressed by status or titles. He set attainable goals and transformed the lives of many locals. He fought for what was right for his people and his country. Your impact to all was immeasurable. I am beyond privileged and lucky to have known you. His selflessness was a beacon of hope to all. You accomplished so much good things with the time God grants you. Your legacy is one that is very inspiring. As our hearts ache in sadness, just know your actions and your words will inspire generations to come. You will always be remembered by your grace, nobility, and vision. Your loss echoes in our hearts today. At the same time, it unifies us in mourning. To Mama, Uncle Fred, Maso, Damo, Raoul, Tasha, Irma, Chloe, Brenda, Dion, the entire family circle, I will close by saying, his flesh and his heart may fail, but God is the strength of his heart and his portions forever. He will forever have a place in my heart. Bless his soul and may his legacy endure. Thank you. Brenda Brooks, will you join me?
Time families get together, some go on vacations. A time to do things as simple as stepping outside to breathe in some fresh air. Look up at the sky and count the stars at night. These are just some of the things that we like to do in the summer. This is where it began for me. The new beginning and a summer that never ended. I met Pops in the summer of 1988. I was 12 years old, sitting in a car in front of La Poste, waiting for my sister Mercedes. She was laminating a certificate of achievement as I had just graduated from primary school as best student. I had done well in school and she was so proud and wanted to ensure that the certificate would never get old. After sitting for some extended period in the car, Mercedes finally came back to the car with Pops and introduced him to me. He said, "You are your mother's last child, right? Louis Constance, your father, right? I have your brother living with me. Why don't you come and spend the summer with us and get to meet him? I will send the driver for you." That summer, I found myself in a household with Pops, Mama, and 5 of their kids, and I never once felt like an outsider. You see, my biological mother died when I was 5 years old, and up to this point, I'd lived consecutively with my grandparents, an aunt in New York, and my sister, Mercedes. I later understood that Pops promised my sister that he would ensure that I get a proper education, and so I never went back to live with her. Albert and Josiane then became Pops and Mama, and their kids became my brothers and sisters. Charles Bowden said, "Summertime is always the best of what might be." And what might be is what is evident today, because the characteristic of the man Albert Fleming, Pops for me, has helped shape the person I am today. A giver he was, a brother he was, a father to many he was, an employer he was, innovative he was, a pioneer he was, a man of morals and values he was, love he was, and loved he was. Pops walked with broad shoulders but close to the ground. He was a humble man. I always admired how sure he was of himself, and you couldn't do that without knowing your purpose. Pops knew his purpose. It wasn't politics, it was service. He played the game of politics because he knew that to be effective was to lead, and leading he did, and effective he was. You see, Pops was not a man of many words. He listened, observed, and took action. I remember when I graduated with my law degree, he was so proud. You know what he said to me? Nothing. And then I was sworn in as an attorney in St. Martin. He was so proud he was at the courthouse beaming with contentment. You know what he said to me? Nothing. But what he did was like saying it with a loudspeaker atop a mountain. I am proud of you, Brenda. Pop set up my first law office in Phillipsburg and gave me such an advantage. It propelled my career, and I was one of the youngest attorneys with my own company even before I took the oath. That was 14 years ago. Today, that same company now has 2 offices and serves the community of St. Martin. The sun from that summer day in 1988 keeps shining in me today. Pops was disciplined and structured. He rose early in the morning to start his 4 a.m. exercise. He then read the Bible, prepared breakfast for us until we assumed the task, and then he left for work. Before arriving at work, he visited the various businesses that he had on both sides of the island. Lunchtime was usually spent with us at home, after which a siesta followed, and then back to work to finish off the day, checking in at the businesses before coming home. So being as consistent as he was, we always knew when we could get away with something if we did it at a certain time. One of my funny memories of Pops is a time me and Maso decided to sneak out of the house to go to the Carnival village on the Dutch side. At that time, we were living in French cul-de-sac and the property had high bordering walls. We escaped by putting a pool chair against one of the walls and jumped over it. To get back over the wall, we would need the same chair naturally. So at almost 4 a.m., when we were about to jump back over the wall into our yard, there he was with his broomstick doing stretches around the pool. So we had to activate plan B. We went through the neighbor's yard, through the bushes, and climbed down the satellite dish pole to get to our rooms that were outside the house. You can imagine we got caught up in the bushes. Many years later, as we decided to tell Pops about that eventful occurrence, he sat, listened, and to my greatest surprise, he then said, "I knew you guys sneaked out of the house, and I saw the chair, and I left it there so that you can get back over safely." Had we known this back then, it would have saved us many scars from the cuts we got that evening venturing through the dark bushes. Pops had excellent work-family balance. Although he was very busy and always had something to do, he always made time for what really mattered, his family. In our house of 6, with strong personalities and demands, it was not easy. Though somehow he was the calm in the chaos. He did not say much, but it was as if his presence said it all. Pops may not have had a high school or college degree. To me, he had a PhD in leadership. As a leader, he kept the people, country, and most of all, his family at heart. And he gave service without expecting anything in return. Every move he made was with purpose, and it catapulted a country and its people forward. And so the legacy of the man, Albert Fleming, aka Pops, lives on today, and you and I, and will continue throughout the future generations. I firmly believe that we are all put on earth with a purpose. Many usually find their purpose, others never do. Whatever we do in life should be with purpose, and with the idea that we shall, after fulfilling our purpose, leave a legacy behind. Pops knew his purpose, and he gave his whole heart and life to fulfilling it. Though the sun has set for Pops, the sun ray of his selfless acts keeps shining on us like a waterfall of continued blessing. So it still feels like summer, and to me, the summer never ended. Pops, May your memory live on, and we pray that you will forever rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paula. And to end this first part of the tributes, I may call Ms. Malika Maxwell Bell to sing I See the Sunrise.